Yeah, I just auditioned for Berkeley.
You did? Yeah, Berkeley. That's what it is, Berkeley.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So it was interesting.
How was the audition handled?
Well, like you said, all the call and response was on piano. And I was auditioning with my guitar, but I was going for songwriting.
Okay.
And then like you really have to know your sheet music. You have to be able to sight read, and that was a big part. But they take a lot of kids who don't sight read, and then it was just improvisation over blues, which I did really good at. And then you audition your song, and so that's pretty much the whole process. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, but if you're not well-rounded in music, like read a little bit of sight reading, and you can improvise and play your own song and call and response. If you can't do all of that, then they're not going to take you. So it's and then
you have to be well-rounded.
And then you have an interview where you.
That's why I said you should study a little bit of keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everything is right in front of you, and you got it all right in front of you. One thing I want to say really quick, and then I'll take your question, is you don't want to do what a lot of the musicians from my generation did. They pigeonholed themselves. They only wanted to play metal. They only wanted to play this kind of rock. They only wanted to sound like Black Sabbath. That's no good. That's like a painter that only wants to paint white kitchens. If you're in music, you got to be diversified to a degree. If somebody says, will you do this session? Well, I don't know anything about that kind of music. Well, just shut up and go to it, because that's the way you learn. And that's real important in music. You need to diversify yourself. Do not only play one kind of music. Listen, nothing makes me more happy than to compose and to work with music that's just specifically made for the keyboard, for piano. Actually, the pianoforte in particular. Nothing. I love it. But if something comes up, like a tour of Japan or whatever, and they're willing to pay good money, hey, I'll be a singer again, no problem. That'll work. Can I have your question?
If you're looking for more of the business side of music,
right.
For example, wanting to be an entertainment or a music manager, are there specific types of business or law degrees that you should get that help you more in those fields?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great question. People that are in the music business, they have music attorneys. They have people that only practice music business law. Very important. I don't know quite that much about that end of it, but I do know this. They're among the people that are the most valuable to musicians. You have to have, I think my mom has 3 different lawyers that do nothing but just music law. And the reason for that is because there's different segments. One of them just works on royalties. That's all he does. He never goes to court, never goes to trial. He just fixes royalties so that we get royalties on the music that we make. Another one handles different things, like, for example, trademark infractions. Like if somebody decides they're going to go into the t-shirt business and they want to use my brother's face, but they don't want to pay us any money. One lawyer just does that stuff. So I can't tell you about that, but I could tell you that probably any of the colleges around here, their law department could probably advise you which are the real prestigious schools for that. I would imagine UCLA for sure. And then there's law schools too. And I'm sure there's a division that deals with that.
What about different types of business degrees if you wanted to go into the management side or even being an agent?
Usually the people that are the real successful managers, they're not actually attorneys. What they are is they're people that are really, really good at handling talent. They either used to have clubs, they used to own clubs, or they actually used to be in a band themselves for a while. Or what happens is they're people that are real managers, if they're successful, are real well connected. Extremely well connected. They get on the phone, and they want something, they call somebody, and if he can't make that happen, he calls someone else, and then it just goes boom, 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 and lights up. It's amazing.
So there's no type of degrees you could recommend?
To be a manager, no. I mean, it would be really good to have a business degree and to know something about finance.
Okay.
But actually the most successful managers that I've ever met, they're people that they started off liking music, maybe they weren't in the band, but they organized concerts, they promoted concerts, they made friends with the musicians, and after a while, they take a shot, they manage a band, and if it works, then they build it up. Yes?
What do do you suggest for people who play an instrument that's like not as favorable?
I'm sorry.
Not as popular in music.
Well, there's some instruments that we can't get enough of. I know that you people, especially you, are probably up to here with guitar players and bass players and drummers, and you probably run into them all the time. But there's some instruments that we need immediately. For example, if you play viola, you can get a job. You can get a job really quick. About what?
Cello.
Cello is a beautiful instrument and it's very much in demand. Did you know that cello is the instrument that comes closest to approximating a human voice and emotions? Cello is very much in demand. I've used cello for my recordings, and you shouldn't have any problem at all if you play that instrument. It's a very beautiful instrument. It's kind of hard to be first chair if you're an orchestra. To be a cellist, you really have to be magnificent, but they have other cellists too. You shouldn't have a problem with that instrument if you're good.